providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're glad you're here on Tina Bina's birthday.
Aw.
It's Tina McIntosh's birthday.
It's my birthday.
And she's a beauty.
I don't know about that.
We're so glad she's here and alive.
Birthday.
Happy birthday to you. It's Tina Bina's birthday. Caregiver
you.
Crossing, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. If it's your first time, Caregiver Crossing is a show that's brought to you by Joy's House presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're here every week and we talk about all things caregiving and also all things birthday. Happy birthday, my friend.
Thanks.
Tina Bina. Oh, that's Tina McIntosh. I'm Terry
Your hands are
Stacey.
so cold. She just touched me, and her hands. I'm so hot.
She's
Keep
freezing.
them right there. It's nice.
Terry, I'm Terry Stacey. Tina McIntosh sits to my right.
I'm right here, and then Noah Taylor sits to my right.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon.
So Noah, he didn't want to, but I was like, "It's my birthday. Do it anyway." Put on some lip gloss that Terry had, and it is the plumping kind. How's it going over there?
This is my present to you, is wearing this this morning. You know what? I am feeling like I could have some beautiful, luscious lips, but I do feel a little tingly.
Do you feel like you walked into like a mosquito hive? Is that a thing?
Kind of not.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. Or just gotten stung by
Yeah, I've
bees.
got one sting here on the top of my lip and then one here on the bottom of my lip, and they're growing exponentially.
Well, be careful because you had it on your finger, and I don't want you to get it in your eyeball.
I know, I was like
No.
touching my face there.
Or
It's
any
like
other
watching
body
Hot
part.
Ones.
Yes,
Do you watch Hot
I
Ones?
love Hot Ones.
I love Hot Ones, the show. Do you watch it, Terry?
No.
Oh, where they eat hot wings. Anyway, Sean, whatever his name is, who's
Yes,
adorable and a
yes.
great interviewer.
He's a wonderful interviewer.
But they always touch the wing. The stars that are doing it touch the wing, and then you want to touch your eyes because they're watering.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
so don't touch your
No.
eyes.
Don't touch your eyes. And you know what? That's actually a great segue into the conversation we're talking about today,
Go
Okay.
on.
which is another food-related interview show on YouTube, much like Hot Ones. So what we're talking about today is Mythical Kitchen's show, Last Meals. This is hosted by Mythical chef Josh Scherer. Josh takes that simple question and turns it into a full conversation about life, memory, and mortality.
It's like hot wings.
It's
but
exactly
different.
like Hot Wings, except what they do is Josh is a wonderful chef and has a team of incredible cooks at the Mythical Kitchen. And they have on famous stars like Meghan Trainor, Victoria Justice, Jake Johnson, and even Coleman Domingo, who's my favorite actor. But they invite these guest stars to be on the show. And prior to the show, they'll ask them, what would your last meal be? A lot of people think that's like, a lot of people, their head goes straight to like death row. Like, what would your last meal
Right.
be?
No, mine
Right.
did actually just now.
Yeah.
But a lot of them have like these really wonderful meals that have stories that are like connected to their childhoods, a meal that maybe their mom made when they were really young, or maybe it's just like a wonderful steak that they love to
Oh
eat.
my gosh, I love that. So I love this show. It is on now.
It airs, I think, like weekly on YouTube.
Okay.
I watch it every single week.
I'm gonna watch it.
I really think you should. It's wonderful, and it starts out pretty lighthearted, but as they eat more food, they get deeper into these questions about death, about mortality, about the legacy that you want to leave.
We should do one. Do it live, but with Caregiver Crossing, but live and as a fundraiser for Joy's House.
Okay, now who's gonna cook the food?
Well, we're going to have to get
I will
a
do the
sponsor.
interviews.
Okay, okay,
So
I'm into that.
these celebrities, they tell the story about their favorite meal, and then they prepare that meal, their favorite meal, and then they sit around and they eat the meal.
That's exactly right.
So we would need a big kitchen,
Okay.
and we would all make our last favorite meal. Is that right? Or would we have chefs
No,
make our
I think
meal?
we should probably have chefs. I mean, unless you're a good cook, I think I'm okay, but I would want our last meals to be prepared by somebody who really makes food.
Okay.
I'm not
So
kidding.
you don't necessarily
I want
have
to do this.
a favorite meal, Noah, that you prepare.
I mean, I do have a favorite meal. I actually love to make like buffalo chicken sliders is my favorite
I'd
meal.
love to eat
That's
buffalo
good.
chicken
Yeah,
sliders.
see, I can make this for you if you want it in your last meal, or we can
Well,
have
I
it
don't
in
want
my
to die.
last
I
meal.
just want to eat the food.
we can all enjoy some food, but I what I really love about this show is that like I said, it starts out very lighthearted, and it's so surprising how quickly the conversation becomes honest for these people. They talk about their family, they talk about their regrets, some of their medical emergencies. They talk about the moments that shaped them with their loved ones, and most importantly, the people they want around them in the world and on their deathbed.
We've gotten so away from even just sitting around the table and eating dinner.
It's so true.
Which is where conversations and deep conversations come from. And we've gotten so far away from that. But I really love this idea. Tina, what would be your favorite meal?
I want watermelon.
Okay.
Like a whole watermelon.
Yeah.
I just want to eat the watermelon.
Like
That's all you
rind?
Well, no, I don't want to eat the rind.
Okay.
You're disgusting.
I mean, I don't
Some
know what's
people
on
do.
your.
I want a bottomless frozen Coke, but I don't really even care about the Coke. I just want the frozen
I
part.
just want the ice.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Right?
With
Yeah,
you.
your drink. So you're thinking your drink, your dessert. Well, not
Oh,
necessarily.
strawberry rhubarb pie.
That's what you want.
Because
That's
that's what my grandma used to make with a lot of sugar because I'm dying anyway.
Yeah.
Like it's in the frozen
You might as well
Coke,
treat
right?
yourself. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, so mine's not really a meal. Mine's just the things that make me happy.
I love that. A lot of people's meals are like that. It's just the stuff that makes them happy. And actually, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's a very famous actor, his last meal was famously 12 different cereals. And they just sat there and
come
had
on.
Gosh.
12 bowls of cereal
love
together.
that.
And he explained why he loved each and every single cereal and why they mattered so much to him.
So this is interesting, though. You asked the question, and I'm going to turn it back on the two of you here in just a second. It's really not about like steak and potatoes because you're dying,
Right.
right? It's your last meal.
Yeah.
It's about the things that make you happy.
It is
and
about-
that make you think about people that you love and moments that you love in life.
Which
Is
is
that
what
true
food
for
is
you?
which is what really food is kind of about sometimes.
Yeah. How about you, Terry?
I love so many things that I would not be disappointed with anything, but I would have to say that it would be a chocolate Coke, which is
Wait, what's a chocolate
a
Coke?
chocolate Coke is a Coke,
Yeah.
a cola, and it's got chocolate in the bottom of it, and you stir it up, and you make this fantastic tasting chocolate Coke. It's from the olden days.
Interesting.
And a Pizza King pizza,
Oh,
and that's
my
because
gosh.
pepperoni feast.
That smells.
Because
that smells
I
really good. That
worked-
sounds so good.
Right, because I worked at that sold Pizza King pizzas, and when I was a kid, and chocolate Cokes are what I lived on when I worked there, and it will always be such a great memory for me. But I love so much food, all the food.
Okay, Noah has to answer, but I just want to have the image of little, sweet, beautiful Terry Stacy slinging pizzas.
Yeah,
That-
and
I
making
love
ice
it.
cream cones.
Just flipping the dough in the air.
Yep.
I said buffalo chicken sliders. That's definitely part of my last meal. I love spam musubi and I love sushi. I'm going with both of those. And for a drink, I'm going to say a strawberry banana smoothie. That's on my last meal.
Okay.
That's
Well,
your list. That's a good one.
all right, so the name of the show is Last Meals. What we call it when we do this as a fundraiser for Joy's House is to be determined, but I am not kidding. This is
it's
fantastic.
fantastic. I
really
love
love
it.
All right, we're gonna have to take a break. Noah.
You can find past episodes of the show at joycehouse.org and be sure to like and follow us on Facebook. If you'd like to connect with us to discuss show topics, need help connecting with resources, have a question that you'd just like for us to answer right here on the air, or just want to say hey, you can reach us at joycehouse.org or email Tina at joycehouse.org. And you're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're here every week to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit joycehouse.org to connect with us, hear past episodes, learn more about caregiver support resources in the community, and much, much more. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
Don't let high golf rates drive you out of bounds. Save big with the Wish TV Great Golf Club card.
Central Indiana's largest golf club card membership is back for the 8th season with more courses than ever before. Save over 75% on tee times at 27 Central Indiana golf courses. All you need is the Wish TV Great Golf Club card. Cards are valid for the entire 2026 golf season.
Great courses, great savings. Score your Great Golf Club card today.
Central Indiana. Wish TV is now live on YouTube TV and Hulu Live, offering more hours of local programming than any other station. Search for Wish TV or look for CW8 on both YouTube TV and Hulu Live to find us. Watch local news, sports, and lifestyle shows live from Wish TV. You can still catch Wish TV free over the air or stream it live on wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile apps. Wish TV, available in more places for the latest news, weather, and sports.
We're back on Caregiver Crossing. I am Tina McIntosh, and in studio with...
Noah Taylor.
That's right. And we actually have two beautiful women with us. We are joined by Amanda Clark, who is the founder of Cocktails and Caregivers. I almost said Cocktails and Chemo.
I know, OG.
Right?
Mm-hmm,
That's the old name.
It is.
Wow. Okay, well, Amanda is the incredible founder of Cocktails and Caregivers, along with Emmalee Hinton, who is the caregiver liaison with the organization. And I have something here that tells me what you do. I want to hear how you two describe it. Cocktails and Caregivers. What is it?
Oh, I love that.
Mhm.
Thank you. Yes, so we were Cocktails and Chemo. We started out as a blog. It's a personal story from my husband going through chemotherapy. And he actually passed away in 2014. And I kind of was left with this mission. I had found myself in this new role as a caregiver. It's a job nobody applies for. And
With
suddenly,
little kids, right?
Yes, I had an 11-month-old daughter, and my husband dies. And in that process, like so many caregivers, so many of your listeners understand all the sacrifices. I had left my job. I had to move. I had changed friends. Everything was shifting so much, but I had built this little community called Cocktails and Chemo. And so after my husband passes, I've got a baby on my hip. I'm a widow. I'm unemployed. I'm like, what the heck do I do now? And so here comes the nonprofit, and we started connecting with caregivers all across the country. We're located here in Indianapolis as our headquarters, but we have some different pockets of people. And now, gosh, I mean, it's 2026. It's wild that we've been doing this for 12 years, but we made the name change to Cocktails and Caregivers because the big thing that I saw is the more that I talked about the feelings of being a caregiver, the loneliness, the isolation, it resonated across all caregiving. It wasn't just chemo. It was truly mothers, fathers, sons, all different disabilities. We all had that universal connection and feeling. And that's what our nonprofit focuses on, is supporting caregivers that are feeling so lonely. So we do a lot of different things. We offer grants. We have in-person events. But at the root of it, it's about making caregivers feel seen and helping to fill their cups so that they can go home and keep caring.
It's so important. And what does that look like every day? So I don't know if that's a good question for you.
It's a very good question for Emmalee. So Emmalee I met her through friends, and then I just kept, luring her in, and brought her on the team.
She's a hard person to say no to.
And Emmalee is a full-time caregiver to her daughter, and I can let her talk about that. But she, as an active caregiver on our team to help us stay connected, because I could start being like, maybe caregivers need this. And she's like, no, actually they don't at all, Amanda. That's very hard. And she just keeps us grounded. She has an amazing voice in all this. So you can talk about kind of, what you've been doing with this.
Yeah, I, like Amanda said, Amanda and I met through friends, and we just instantly connected. Even though our life stories were very different, we had this like undercurrent of like understanding of grief. And we became fast friends. We were like, I'm young and this is hard. And she's like, I'm young and this is hard. And we're like, no one else understands. So we kind of became friends. And then she kept kind of asking me to get involved. And I kept saying yes and yes. And as you mentioned, I care for my daughter who's 14 now. And she's fully disabled. And so even though Amanda's caregiver journey looked very different from my caregiving journey, we understood each other on such an intimate level of hardship, and so my day to day, I'm what I call a forever caregiver. As long as my daughter is alive, I will be caring for her, and so I've started to kind of bring in a lot of those caregivers into the organization, where originally it was more acute illness or cancer-like illnesses, and what we found at the end of the day is none of that matters.
It's so true.
If you are caring for your child, if you are caring for a spouse, if you are caring for a parent, a friend, it is a language that everybody understands. And I think that's what's been a really cool part of it coming in as a caregiver, is seeing all the different caregivers and then being able to connect with them and then having them connect with each other. Because
Absolutely.
by nature, caregiving is an incredibly lonely job. Once you realize you're actually a caregiver, realizing that there's other caregivers out there is such a pivotal moment. And that's honestly my biggest mission as being part of the Cocktails and Caregivers team, is being able to connect caregivers who feel lonely, who feel unseen, who feel misunderstood, who don't feel like anyone else around them understands what they're going through.
Yeah.
So at Cocktails and Caregivers, give me some concrete examples of things you do? Because I think you're right. Just knowing you're not alone is huge. And then there are things like,
Yeah, they need money.
Mhm.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, let's just be honest. The financial strain that is put on caregivers is absolutely it's so hard to even know where to begin, and so we just begin. So we started a grant program called Keeping Caregivers Close, and it really stemmed from my own story. My husband's in chemotherapy. We have to travel to Houston, Texas for life-saving surgeries. We're in the hospital for 46 days. You've got Ubers, expensive hotels, food, out of work. I needed help. And so we were in the early days of the GoFundMe, movement. And if I hadn't had friends and family click that button, I don't know what we would have done. We wouldn't have been able to make it happen. So our grant program is really focused on that. We give hope. We give travel grants so that caregivers can stay with their person, with their patient. And so even someone like Emmalee, she's had to travel with her daughter. She understands the expenses of that. We've paid for plane tickets. We've paid for Ubers. We've paid for just simple gas money to get from here to Cincinnati for families. But to lighten that load on a caregiver, it's what we're really proud of that program.
you should be. And it's no secret of my diagnoses throughout time and my husband's. I will tell you, and I said this from a stage recently, being the patient was easier in a lot of ways, even the times when I thought, okay, this is actually how I die, than it was to be the caregiver for him. The emotional part, the financial part, feeling all the pressure of keeping everything together, the physical, everything was really, really hard. And you all, just so I can publicly say thank you, you were supportive of my family as we were going through. And I feel like there was a kit. Was there maybe like a
Yes.
mailed kit, right?
Yes. Yeah, we do care packages and care kits.
Yeah.
Our goal is that every caregiver that's nominated on our website receives one. In those care kits, it's kind of simple. You can get some fuzzy socks, you can get some gift cards, but it's really our first connection with a caregiver to give them some resources and to let them know that we're here. And so that I'm so glad you got one. It is one of our, it's where we started. And we
Yes.
continue on with it because when that little turquoise package arrives on your doorstep and a caregiver's like, man, someone knew I needed this today. It's a very special thing for us and something we're proud of.
Yeah, and I think you probably have a very similar experience when we do things like that at Joy's house. And I know for you, when you do it, people say, thank you for seeing me. And you have no idea. I needed that at that very moment.
I know, it's such like a God wink sort of
Mhm.
thing.
It is.
It always arrives right when it's supposed to, which is kind of cool.
And I want
Yeah.
people to understand that too, as you're listening, like if you're thinking about a neighbor, a coworker, a friend, somebody that's, maybe you're not even as close with, and you're like, I just don't really know what to do to show up. I want to show up for somebody. I just don't know what to do. Just do something.
Mhm.
I mean, take whatever it looks like. It can be the fuzzy socks. It can be a meal. It can be, if you share the same faith, something that is faith-based, but just do something.
Absolutely. We
Yeah.
say that. We say, when you don't know what to do, Cocktails and Caregivers does.
Yeah.
And so
that's
let
right.
us kind of help you know how to be a good friend when the world feels like it's falling apart, when you feel like I have no idea what to say, what to do. We have those tools to help you to get started and being there for your people.
I love it. All right. When we come back, they're going to tell us a little bit more about Cocktails and Caregivers. and how to contact them. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you as a service of Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. With locations in Broad Ripple and near the University of Indianapolis campus, Joyce House provides exceptional day services for individuals living with a life-altering diagnosis and compassionate support for family caregivers throughout the community. At Joyce House, we believe that everyone deserves to live their best life, regardless of their abilities. Learn more about our adult day and caregiver support services by visiting joycehouse.org today. All right, stick with us, everybody. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
We're back on Caregiver Crossing. Tina McIntosh in studio with Noah Taylor. And we've got, if you weren't with us last segment, you're going to have to go back and listen to that. But we have with us Emmalee Hinton, who is the caregiver liaison, and Amanda Clark, who is the founder of Cocktails and Caregivers. And what great work they're doing with this organization. Not for profit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's always important to say, right?
Mhm,
Because we know we have people who can donate that are listening. What's a website for you?
You know, we're at cocktailsandcaregivers.org, but yeah, we are a 501c3.
Excellent.
We have a predominantly all volunteer team. We just made our first full-time employee hire this year, which was wild. I think it means we're like a real thing, but we're growing. The need continues to present itself. And so sometimes we're not even trying to grow, and here we go. So yeah.
Well, let's talk about the fact that caregivers often downplay their own needs.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I mean, I'm not looking at any of us to scold us for downplaying our own needs, but it happens. And so how do you help coach caregivers to show up differently?
Absolutely. You know, and even as I sit here with my friend Emmalee, I can see her breaking out in hives over there, downplaying her own days. Her daughter was injured as a baby and her life flipped upside down. And she doesn't even talk about all that. She says, "Oh, today's good."
She rolled her eyes.
I know.
I can't see much. I took my glasses off for a moment, but I saw the eye roll.
She said, "How are you?" Oh, today's a good day. Her life is really, really hard. Really hard. She has nurses coming tonight. I mean, her friendships, she has to manage all of the time. And I think as caregivers, we don't let ourselves always feel vulnerable. Like, I'm just going to speak for you, because sometimes I feel like when I was caring for my husband, like if I allowed myself to cry, I, one, would maybe never stop. And two, then who was going to be strong? Because I had to be the one. I had to keep it all together for everybody else. And so we hope to be a soft place where caregivers can land. So, you know, Emmalee sits here, active caregiver, and it was really her passion to put together a caregiver retreat, which is we do once a year. We're trying to now do quarterly, where we have caregivers come to something and they can kind of take off that superhero cape, hang it at the door for a bit, come inside and let us pamper them. And Emmalee's put a ton of work into it. But we see caregivers walk in and they're like, "Oh gosh, I don't even know like if I deserve to be here. This person has it worse than me." But you see the way they look when they walk in versus the person that walks out, and just taking those 3 hours, they're different.
And why do we do that? Why do we think that we have to compare? I hear people say it all the time. Like, well, I mean, it could be so much worse. Yeah, it could be. And it could just suck the way it is right now.
Yeah.
Like, can it not be both?
I think that's the nature of caregiving, is like, you're like, oh, it's not about me. It's about whomever I'm caring for. And so you're like, oh, well, the person that they're caring for has it way worse. Therefore, like, I shouldn't have anything to complain. You don't feel like you have anything to complain about to begin with, let alone when you're in a room of caregivers and, you know, you're playing this caregiver hierarchy in your head that's totally a facade, because we're all in the same boat. We're all struggling with the same things. And
one patient becomes more than one patient. Let's be honest. Now there are two at least, right?
Yes.
Because the person with the diagnosis and the primary caregiver, if not more.
Right. Which is why the caregiver retreat that we do is so impactful, because it shows the caregiver that you're worth it. You need to take time. I don't care if you don't want to take time. You need to take time for yourself. In my caregiving journey, that was a hard lesson I had to learn, was that like, oh, if I'm going to live my life, I'm going to have to carve out time, no matter how impossible it feels, like how many logistics I have to line up. If I want to live a meaningful life for myself and be able to help care for my family and my daughter, I have to figure this out. And so the caregiver retreat kind of turned into things that I found helpful in my own life, that I was like, oh shoot, like Susie over here isn't doing anything. She has no idea that these are little things that you can do in your day. And so I just think that's important, that, that you realize that not only do you matter and how your wellness and your well-being matters, it makes you a better caregiver. It makes you a better wife. It makes you a better friend. It leads to a more meaningful experience in life overall.
So I'm going to say this because, yes, these big things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned the little things too. And I've started referring to them as micro moments where here's my example. I was home alone the other day. If you knew, there are 8 people that live in my house, and between 2 little locations, there are 5 dogs and a bunch of other animals. I'm never alone, ever.
Yeah.
Everybody was gone. I locked the doors. I had all my lighting the right way. I turned on some music. And you guys, I didn't dance. I moved my body in the weirdest ways. It was like an old Seinfeld, those who remember Seinfeld, Elaine on Seinfeld. Yeah, it was something like that, like a convulsion and a dance had a baby. It was weird.
I like it.
And I was like, ow, ooh, ah, like moving my body. And it probably lasted for 3 or 4 minutes. And I got done and I laughed at myself and I felt lighter.
Oh, yeah. It filled you up.
I felt different.
Yeah.
It took nothing.
It is a micro. You know, we taught our caregivers something about what was it, sound bath?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sound baths.
Yeah.
But then they're kind of looking like, what is this hippy dippiness? But then at the end, they're like, that was nice.
Yeah.
Because it was giving them kind of a different tool. We do journaling, some light yoga, just things that they maybe wouldn't know about that they can take home and replicate. And that's all Emmalee. And that's just been tools to give caregivers to say, like, you deserve this. You are deserving.
It's excellent. And unlike a lot of organizations, I believe you serve people of all socioeconomic backgrounds, right? And I say that because a lot of folks that we have on the show, you have to have it's a certain threshold below this amount or above this amount, depending on private pay or, you know, how the organization's set up. And I will tell you, I'm one of the people in the middle. I'm middle class. And when I was going through all my stuff and you all supported us, it meant so much for all the reasons and because we didn't qualify for help in other places.
That means a lot to me to hear you say that because that's something we feel really passionate about. We've had people come to our organization before and be like, gosh, well, they seem like they're doing okay. I do not care if you've been hit with something in life like a trauma, which anything like this is a trauma. You deserve support. Your financial situation, I don't care. I want to show you. I want to wrap my arms around you. You did not plan for this. This was not part of your life plan. Let us
and
help
your future.
you.
What about your future? You exhaust everything you have in the present. I mean, I'm looking at you, and we don't know each other, but I'm looking at Emmalee right now. But you know, you exhaust your mental and your physical, right, in caring in your situation alongside your daughter who's getting older. And like you have your future too. And so if you don't have somebody like Amanda who gets it, pushing you to say, you know, you need to be doing your yoga and swimming and do your sound bath.
Right.
You know,
well, and money doesn't change that on a basic level. Like
correct.
You could have all the money in the world and have zero support and no friends.
That's right.
And caregiving is not something that you can paddle down the river alone. Like you got to have some pals.
Are you mad at me, by the way, because I made it really personal? Amanda did it
She
first.
loves it.
Okay, she's okay. We're okay.
Get personal.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to wrap, but we're gonna have them back and talk about friends.
Please do.
Because
come
I
back.
think that's something we don't talk about a lot is how you lose relationships in your life and how you can still love them and let them go all at the same time. Could we do that another time?
Yeah,
okay.
we can talk about that.
All right.
We can talk.
Do we have
Do you
cocktails
wanna- I
with
was
it?
going to
or-
say, you want to go now?
Stay here.
Pour the wine. Let's go.
All right, we are going to have to take a break. I do want you to share Amanda Clark, the founder of Cocktails and Caregivers. Can you share the website one more time?
Yeah, it's cocktailsandcaregivers.org. We're on Instagram. We are on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook. We have a really robust support group there. So come and look for us. We would love to have you.
I'm going to make a note, too, to follow on all social because sometimes I'm not very good at that. But Emmalee Hinton and Amanda Clark, Cocktails and Caregivers, so grateful for what you do. Thank you.
having us.
Thank you both so much. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. We're here every week to bring you support.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA is heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
Support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit joycehouse.org to connect with us, hear past episodes, learn more about caregiver support resources in the community, and much, much more. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing.
We're back. It's Caregiver Crossing. Terry, Stacy, Tina McIntosh, and Noah Taylor.
Hello.
Take it, Noah.
Oh, I would love to. So, today on Caregiver Crossing, for our last little segment here, I actually got a story from a caregiver, and this is from a daily advice column that they utilize in New Jersey. Eric Thomas, who is a best-selling author, replies to caregivers. I'm going to tell a little bit of this story, and then I would love to hear some input from Tina and Terry. And then I will read actually what Dear Eric, wrote as well as his response to the caregiver.
Okay.
So I think I'll just go ahead and get right into it.
Yeah.
So the caregiver says, Dear Eric, my 98-year-old father is living with dementia. Because it isn't advanced, he is painfully aware that his memory is failing him. He often recounts things, past and present, that aren't true. Following advice from the Alzheimer's Association, our immediate family practices therapeutic fibbing. We accept whatever he says as fact to preserve his dignity. It's a difficult tightrope to walk, but the hardest part is not the caregiving. It is the silence. Several of Dad's lifelong friends have stopped calling. I think they feel uncomfortable with the conversations, which, in all honesty, are not always easy. He misses them and has begun to worry that he's done something wrong to drive them away.
That's so sad.
Yeah, it really is. Before I get too much of your input, I would love to hear your initial reactions about maybe what this caregiver is feeling right now.
Oh, I have so many.
Then you go.
Well, suggestions, not even necessarily feelings, but I mean, I feverishly wrote these down, and I've not looked at the answer that Eric gave, but first of all, I would be honest and tell them, like, this is what's going on. I think often we make up a story for the people. Well, Bart can't come because he's getting older and he can't get around. He doesn't drive anymore. And Harold, he just never really was, you couldn't count on him anyway. And he wouldn't show up. And so-and-so's wife died. And this might stop. Just tell them.
Yeah.
Dad is noticing you're not here. The silence is hard. Give them a chance to show up or not. And if they show up, great. And if they don't, it's okay too. Like, first of all, recognize that maybe they can't show up because it's opening old wounds for them. Maybe it's making them face their own mortality and they're not ready to do that. Maybe maybe they're dealing with their own health, mental or physical health things. So there's that part of it. The other is a couple of suggestions. Invite them in as a group. If there are 3 of them, invite them to come as a group. We did a story a long time ago, and it's always stuck with me, about a woman who would do a happy hour for her husband who was dying. And every Friday, and that might be a lot,
love this story.
Every Friday, this woman would clear out all of the pharmacy bottles, all of the urinals, everything that made it look like a hospital in the bedroom. And she would light candles, and she would have, nowadays it would be a charcuterie tray.
Yeah.
She would have alcohol and
It's like a little
non-alcoholic
pub. She set up
mocktails.
she
did.
bar area.
Put on music, set the lighting just right, and it was a happy hour. Anybody could come in for that hour.
Yeah.
And no more, because anything longer was too exhausting. So set that up. If
And
you
that
can
made
commit them
everybody
to
coming
coming.
comfortable.
Right.
It was it sounded more like, oh, I will
Inviting.
enjoy this.
Yeah.
Yes, I will actually
Yes.
enjoy going in and with a group setting. The group setting is good. I've done that myself. When I've needed to go and visit somebody at the hospital and I was very uncomfortable in that setting, I made sure that I was going at a time when we all went together, and it just felt more comfortable. And then you start to feel real guilt because you're like, it's not about us.
That's
This
right.
is about this
Yeah.
person in bed that
Yeah.
would love to see our faces.
Yep.
And you get so tied up in how you feel. But again, we can't control that. You can't control how other people feel about doing these things. But then, let's say they don't come. When do you say to Dad, or with dementia or whoever it is, Because you don't want dad to be sad either. He's not seeing his friends. So how do you do it on that side of it?
I think it's going to be a little bit harder when we talk about the dementia, because so many times when we have dementia, we get stuck on something.
Yeah.
Right. So if it's, I want to see my friends, I want to see my friends, it doesn't matter how many times you're explaining it. It's kind of like that whole Groundhog Day thing. But what I will say is, just because you don't have a relationship with somebody now that meant something in your life at one point doesn't mean it was any less valuable at that time. And I feel like sometimes we do that, right? Like maybe I have a girlfriend who I'm not as close with, but she was such a big part of my life in college. Well, that doesn't mean she's a bad friend. We just had a really close, impressionable relationship, in college. And I'm grateful for that. And so it's going to be harder when you throw in the dementia. I mean, you got to go back to what he was saying about for their family, it's therapeutic fibbing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those are the things that come to my head off the bat. What else did Eric say?
So yes, I do have Eric's response here, but I did love, Terry, what you said about it's not really about what we feel. Or, it's not about us. It's about the other person. And what I hear a lot from people is that you don't owe anybody anything.
Right.
But I think it is the exact opposite. We owe everybody everything, and that is part of being human. But what Eric said here,
I love that, Noah.
I do too. That's a
Good.
wise
I'm
old
glad you
owl
love
for
that.
however young he is.
From Eric, dear Caring, you're right. Shaming may not be the most effective strategy here. Instead, transparency might be the way. Tina? Good point. Try calling your father's friends, giving them a full picture of what's going on, as much as you feel comfortable while still preserving your dad's dignity and privacy. Then make a specific ask. I know what these conversations aren't always easy and might even be painful, but can you please call my dad this week and just talk for a few minutes? He needs the connection and he's benefited from your friendship. Is that something you can commit to him? Now, by making it plain, you're helping to disentangle some of the complicated emotions that the friends may be having. Frustration, maybe grief, maybe guilt, and giving them what is hopefully an easy yes. I also want to note that what you're doing is a gift for your father, of course, but it's also a gift for his friends. Often, as you noted, we don't know how to support friends who are ailing, but it's important for everyone to remember that it's always better to ask than to avoid.
So I will tell you, when my dad was literally on his deathbed, I think it was 2 days before he died, one of his best friends that was remaining, there was a group of guys that had grown up together. One of them lives out of state, but he was like the last of these guys. And I had reached out to this friend. I hadn't talked to him in a long, long time. And he said, I just don't know that I can do it. And I'm going to just call him Bill. And I said, Bill, it's not about you right now. Nothing would mean more than for my dad to see your face. And I pressed FaceTime and I FaceTimed him. And he cried and my dad cried in the most beautiful way. Hey, buddy. And remember when we used to, and I love you. And it was the most beautiful brotherly love at that moment. And I'm sure somebody would criticize me for just pressing FaceTime. I didn't really care. I was advocating for my dad, and he was dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't have to answer. He didn't have to answer.
No.
Can you imagine how he would have felt if he didn't get to have that moment with your dad?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Thank you very much for sharing that. But
Appreciate that.
do have to go. We do have to go.
Time to go, guys.
Until next time, take good care of each other.